Assalamualaikum and good day. My name is Muhammad Fazil Zulkifli. I'm from Software Engineering Department at the Faculty of Information and Communication Technology, University Technical Malaysia Melaka. The lesson for today is nested query. At the end of the lesson, we should be able to define nested query. Then we should be able to illustrate nested query in manipulating the content of relational database, and finally apply nested query in SQL statements. Nested query is defined as a query that processes data based on other processed data, which means the output of one process becomes the input to another process that produces the final output. The main characteristics of nested query are: it first consists of outer and inner query, whereby the inner query is executed first and followed by the outer query. The output of the inner query is used by the outer query. To demonstrate nested query, let's look at the member and loan table of the library management system. And assume that we have a query that asks for the member names who has loan with due date after 30th April 2015. This query can be solved in the following steps. The first step is to find the member ID or a list of member IDs that has loan with due date after 30th April 2015. And the second step is to find the member name whose member ID appears in the output of the first step. These steps can be implemented by executing a nested query statement as follows. There are several types of nested query. In this lesson, we will look at three types of nested query. The type 1 nested query operates on multiple values by the use of an in operator. In this type, the inner query can return many values. For example, in the query that asks for the name of members who has at least one loan. This query can be solved by producing a list of member ID who has at least one loan, and then find the name of members whose member ID appears in the list of member ID. Type 2 nested query operate on single values by the use of a comparison operator. In this type, the inner query must return a single value. For example, in the query that asks for the name of member IDs who are students. This query can be solved by first finding the member type ID for student, which is 2, and then find the name of member whose member type ID is equal to the value returned by the inner query. Type 3 nested query operates by the use of exists operator. In this type of nested query, the outer query will test whether there are rows returned by the inner query. The where clause returns true if there are rows returned by inner query, or else it returns false. For example, in the query that asks for a list of name of members who has loans. In this query, for each member, the inner query will find the associated rows in the loan table. If there are rows returned by the inner query, the member name is displayed, or else skip to next member. Next slides will demonstrate this type of nested query. The query starts by looking for the existence of rows in loan that associates with the first row in the member based on the member ID 2001. In this case, there are no rows returned and the member name is not displayed. The same process is repeated for the second member. In this case, there is one row in loan that associates with the second member based on the member ID 2002. Therefore, the member name Amar bin Sani is displayed. The same process is repeated until it reaches the last member. For more information, please refer to these references and also these references. Thank you for watching.